What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, and I'm back at y'all with another one. So, diabolical news, right? Diabolical news. As we now learned that when your back's against the wall, enemies will join forces to try to make a change, right? They'll join forces, join forces, right? So now, Oscar Dela Hoya, Olympic gold medalist, 6th division champion, Mexican-American Hall of Fame superstar boxer, and founder of Golden Boy Promotions. Oscar Dela Hoya broke into the sport of boxing after he retired with Golden Boy Promotions, with Bernard Hopkins as his co-promoter, and he was working with, now we know, Premier Boxing Champion, founder and CEO Al Haymon. But at that time, there was no PBC, better known as the PBC. There was no PBC. It was Golden Boy Promotions. That's what Floyd Mayweather was fighting under, right? Everybody was under Golden Boy Promotions. They had the deepest roster in boxing, right? They had all the fighters with Golden Boy Promotions, okay? And Oscar Dela Hoya, as usual, could not stay clean. Couldn't stay clean. And Al Haymon, the last straw Al Haymon had was when Floyd Mayweather fought against Canelo Alvarez, right? And Oscar Dela Hoya, just a week before the fight, if I'm not mistaken, Oscar Dela Hoya had to check into rehab and wasn't available. Al Haymon ended up colluding with other forces, Floyd Mayweather, Tom Brown, so on and so forth, and starting the PBC, and took Oscar Dela Hoya's entire roster with him. About 90% of his roster they took with him, right? And they've been arch enemies since then, calling how they thieves in the night. They took his roster. Al Haymon is terrible for boxing, so on and so forth, right? Well, then the networks, Showtime, HBO, ESPN, fast forward to today's time, have all decided to get out the business of the sport of boxing. It's not profitable. They're tired of dealing with the sport of boxing and the shenanigans and the nonsense, right? So they decided they're getting out the business of the sport of boxing. It's left with the app that everybody complained about in DAZN. Everybody said DAZN app was trash. Nobody's fighting on apps. They don't pay, so on and so forth, right? Now you left with DAZN because PBC is with Amazon, but Amazon has not given them a budget, right? So they don't have a budget to stage these fights, okay? So they have to go with DAZN. And in comes Saudi Arabia and His Excellency Turki Al-Rashid. And also he opens the door for UFC founder Dana White to come into the sport. And now they got TKO boxing. And they see the writing on the wall. The takeover. How Jay-Z said, the takeover, the break's over. God MC, me, Jehovah. Right? They see His Excellency Dana White. It's the takeover. The break's over. Right? Now all of a sudden, they are joining forces. They are going to join their roster. Now Oscar Dela Hoya, you never hear Al Haymon talking. But now Oscar Dela Hoya is coming out and he's speaking and he's saying, hey, myself, Al Haymon have made amends, and now we are going to join forces and we gonna put our roster together, and we gonna make the biggest fights possible. So you better get on board. Well, what network? See, so this is what they're gonna do now. They're gonna attempt to sell this to Amazon Prime, right? It's desperate measures now. They're gonna attempt to sell their rosters together, right, to Amazon Prime, and try to get Amazon Prime or Netflix to give them a deal. See, PBC thought they was going to get a deal with Netflix, and that didn't work out. Jake Paul got deals with Netflix before PBC did. And they failed to put together anything that's substantial and that can keep boxing consistent for them, because they don't have a budget. So they got to put everything on pay-per-view to try to get an earning back to be able to put other fights on and events on. And so now Oscar De La Hoya, because he don't want to play ball, get this, Oscar don't want to play ball with DAZN to make the fights that DAZN is demanding him to make, particularly the Virgil Ortiz, Jerome Boots Ennis fight. And DAZN simply gave him an ultimatum. If you don't make this fight that we're telling you to make, right? You don't make this fight, then guess what? You won't have a network to showcase your fighters and your fights on. Right? And Oscar don't want to make the fight. So he played hardball. Now he like, hey, I'm not making the fight. I'm not making the fight. But I got Al Haymon and the PBC backing me, and we'll take our rosters and pitch it to other networks. It's not going to work out. It's not going to work out. They're not going to be interested. Netflix ain't going to give them no deal. Ain't going to happen. Amazon is not going to suddenly give them a budget. It's not going to happen. See, that's what they think. That's why Oscar's saying, we're going to join rosters together and we're going to make the biggest fights. With who? With who? Who do you got? And who the PBC have? That's relevant. Errol Spencer's talking like he's retiring. Jamel and Jamal Charlo, we see their situation. They ain't fighting years. Keith Thurman talking about fighting Sebastian Fundora. Sebastian Fundora got injured and they still haven't rescheduled that fight. Now Sebastian Fundora is talking about he's healthy. They still haven't rescheduled the fight. Who they gonna mention match? Oscar got Virgil, Ryan Garcia, Zurdo Ramirez, who's getting ready to fight David Benavidez and gonna lose. Ryan got a fight coming up against Mario Barrios. He's already talking about he's not reing up after the Mario Barrios fight. Now I don't know. A shout out to L. Dub Boston. He was explaining to me how Ryan contract worked, because you know how Top Rank do things. When you become a champion with Top Rank, you automatically get re-signed, right? You get extended your contract. I don't know how that works with going to work with Ryan, but Ryan already let it be known, I'm not extending nothing. I'm not re-signing nothing. He wins this fight against Mario Barrios, he's not re-signing. He's leaving. And if he loses, you're really in trouble, right? So who you got? Talking about putting the rosters together. With who? With who? Make it make sense, man. It's over. And they concerned, again, like I said before, they concerned with Dana White and TKO They concerned with Dana White and TKO. And look what they doing. Nasty work, man. It's nasty work. But let me know what y'all think, man. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, or one word, I'm gone. Peace.